Welcome back in the hobby area. Today I want to talk about electronics. So electronics as a hobby, I started because I have an apprenticeship in information technology and also studied and have a Master of Science in computer science. So of course then what to do other than have electronics as a hobby. And I want to give you a quick overview how you can start yourself with electronics and what you perhaps need. And it's an inexpensive hobby because that's perhaps a tip I can give you. There are simulators out there today with which you can build discrete logic in a simulation. And for example, Fritzing is a website that does this. And after you've built your circuit, then you can order the parts of that circuit and build it at home. So you doesn't need all of this. You can just do it online, in a simulation today. But if you want to start with this hobby, with the discrete logic at home and the electronics at home, then what I can recommend, especially if you have children that want to start with this hobby, then you can buy beginner sets that this is a really old one with which I learned as a child to do these things and got interested in this whole hobby. And this beginner kits, for example, here is a DuckTales figure that leads through the set, and the circuits that you build depend on each other, and also they explain quite well how everything works. But if you want to start as an adult with this hobby, of course I can understand if you want to start with a more adult approach. So there is Arduino out there with which you can do quite some nice things. You can see this as an extension of your computer, or you can run some small programs on the microcontroller that's embedded in the Arduino. You can also get small boards like the Raspberry Pi that have an own operation system. From there you can run things also over the I/O that they've got, and connect a monitor to it and use it as a small computer with which you can build some circuits. But for me, the fun was always to solder some circuits. So this is a discrete logic that I built on this boards where you can then solder everything together. And the other thing that you can do is build everything on breadboard, where you just plug cables in, and you can do some quick prototyping with this breadboard approach. And what you perhaps need is, if you want to have an easy connection to your boards, then you can buy this USB to serial converters, because today most of the computers doesn't have a serial connection anymore. The other thing you will need is a programmer. So this is a programmer I built my own, and the circuit board a friend of mine made for me. And but also you can even use the Arduino with the right software on it to act as a programmer for the microcontrollers. Yeah, so it's a little bit this hen and egg problem. You need a programmer to program, but here's also the same microcontroller on it that then programs the other microcontroller. So you need somebody who programs you this first controller, and after that you're good to go. And if you want to solder, you can reuse some old cables. Like this here, for example, is of a floppy drive, the cable that I don't need anymore. You can just get the strands of this cable, but also you can buy, of course, a cable on these rolls. Nice thing to have are some assortments. So this is an assortment for the breadboard. There you have some pre-cut cables that are also pre-bent, and have some LEDs and a little bit of supplies. So for example here, this is supply and assortment of resistors. You also perhaps need some condensators and diodes to start with, and yeah, it isn't very expensive in my opinion, if you don't want to use batteries. And of course I don't do it because I don't want to yeah, have the litter of the batteries. So you can get power supplies that are regulated. You can here regulate the power supply from 3 volts to 12 volts. Other power supplies, here for example I've got a bigger one. They are more stable and can deliver more amps. And also this one is protected, so if I got a short circuit it will break the connection. That's for the power supply. The other thing of course is you need a solder iron. So this is a low temperature solder iron for electronics. If you want to yeah, solder something like this cubes, a solder gun is a good thing to have, because if you push here the button, the solder gun will heat in like 10 seconds. The solder iron needs a bit longer. There are also soldering irons out there that are more expensive, where you can set the temperature of the soldering iron. So this is everything that I do here is quite big, and yeah, you don't have much problems to solder it. There are also this very small components like SMD and other form factors, where you then need special tools to grip and grip solder. And also, yeah, the components are much smaller. That's not so good for the beginning in my opinion, because then also you need magnification glasses and so on for soldering, and yeah, like heat guns that you can pre-ball components and then solder them with hot heat. But that's perhaps things you can find in repair videos and like that. Northfix is, for example, a great channel that features something like that. Or yeah, I don't know. It's that's not the electronics hobby I do here. So of course there are actuators like the servos or small motors that you can use to build some quite nice constructions that can move. And yeah, for soldering you need of course a solder and flux. This one is a solder that is hollow in the middle and has a flux already in it. If you want to do it the healthy way, then get lead-free solder. The solder with lead, I think you won't get it everywhere. It's a little bit the problem that the fumes of the lead solder are yeah, not so good to breathe in. And so they at one point decided, oh, we don't want lead solder anymore. But the lead solder flows much better and yeah, and melts at a different temperature. So professionals still use lead solder, I think. But for the hobby use, I would use lead-free solder. And yeah, that's a small overview over this hobby. Of course, you can build such LED cubes, for example. You can buy kits for this on Adafruit or other websites. And at the end, I cut you a small demonstration of a little circuit that I've built with an interrupt. So I let an LED pass through the LEDs, and every time I push a button it will blink a few times with the interrupt. I think that's perhaps a good start with this hobby, because yeah, you can learn a little bit of the programming of the microcontroller. And yeah, I will just show you that now, and thank you for watching, and have fun experimenting with electronics.